We'll try it this way. Hello, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody that has both. It's Christmas and you're around family. We're going to do this thing again, but I guess this can be a bit more general. Stick with me. What I want to talk about is why we shout at people and why we get angry at them. I want to talk about some BPD rage because I think that it's the holidays, we're around family a lot. If anyone can bring out BPD rage, it's family, right? And I want to let's look at why we do this, right? We do it for a couple of reasons, but mainly we do it because we've got rage we need to get out. We're angry, we're upset, we're hurt, we're feeling all of our negative feelings about how we feel. That's how it was for me, right? So I felt awful because of various BPD things, right? And then I was angry that I felt awful. Does that make sense? On top of being angry about some of the things in my trauma and other bits of life and that sort of thing that were also making me feel awful with the BPD, there's this big sort of feedback loop mess amplification of anger system at play here. And when we're not getting help, when we're not getting the therapy that we need and finding positive ways of dealing with this stuff, specifically calming it down and getting what anger we have out in less harmful ways, when we're not doing that, we rage. And we rage and we rage and we are amazing at rage because all of this big cauldron of anger explodes out of us. That's ultimately where it comes from. We tend to direct it at people we think are safe to direct it at. This is bad news for our nearest and dearest, for our loved ones, the people we're supposed to care about and want in our lives, because they're the people that we test. They're the people that we put it out on. We shout at people, we get upset at them, we rage at them because they can't or won't leave us. These aren't friends, this is family. These are the people who say they love us, right? And if they love us, then they're not going to go. They're a safe person to rage at. And maybe they're not going to hurt us back, right? I can go outside and get angry at strangers all day, but they're going to get angry back at me. And eventually somebody's going to put me on my ass, right? That's no good. But as a teenager, as a young man, whatever, I can yell at my mum and dad all day. That I can do. Can yell at them all day, blame them for all sorts of things, shout at them in all kinds of ways. Because what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And so it comes out there. And it's not them I'm angry at in that moment that I'm shouting. It's not the guy in the car park that I'm angry at in that moment that I'm shouting, or the person in the shop, or my girlfriend, or whoever. It's all the cauldron of anger and rage and pain and trauma and things that's been bubbling up. That's what's shouting. But I do it to people that I care about, or I did it to people that I care about, that I love, because they're safe to do it to, right? And indeed, is this not a way of testing new people that come into our lives? Of saying, well, if you think you love me, then let's go, let's see. Let's try this, have some of this rage, and we'll see if you stick around. And then if you don't stick around, if you go because of my rage, then, well, I can use that. I can work with that because then I am inherently unlovable and I can go into a spiral of despair and self-hatred and depression and all of that because you left. Because you left because I am the way I am and so I made you leave, so I can't ever be with anybody. Do you see this spiral? Do you see what we do? And if you don't go, if you stay, then we can just carry on with the rage at you. It's not good for you, and it's not good for us. It's not good for anybody, right? There's nobody pretending that's an okay thing. But that's, that's the way it goes. And so this is why, as a person with BPD, we absolutely need to be aware of what it is that we do, of how we affect others, of how our rage does come out in these ways, because it's abusive, right? We're shouting at people who haven't done anything to us. We're shouting at people who are just wondering what's going on. And it's nothing to do with them. Now, it's one thing if you're just discovering this about yourself, if you're just finding out that you do this, and you're going through that period of, oh my God, I didn't realize how horrible I've been to people, and that sort of thing. But if you're aware that you have BPD and you do this, you have to stop, because now you're just doing it and hurting people, which is not good either. Therapy helps. There are ways of dealing with this rage, of dealing with the anger. It's not overnight. It's not really quick. But knowing that you have to deal with this, I try not to say knowing is half the battle. But it is, right? You have to know that you're in this battle. You have to know that there's a war that you're fighting, so to speak, with your emotions and the way you're reacting to them. And you need to relearn behaviors. You need to relearn that when you feel these emotions, the way you've been acting is not appropriate, is not ideal, is not the person you want to be, and that we hurt the people around us. So in this season of goodwill to all and all that kind of thing, we have to remember, let's not blow up at people. Let's go outside and take some deep breaths. Let's talk it through. Let's understand where people are coming from, and let's figure out what's worth getting upset about. That's a big thing with me. Is that worth getting upset about? Can I do anything about that? Does it really affect me? Does it really affect anything? If, I try and look at it like if I'm an old man on my deathbed taking stock of my life, when every moment becomes as precious as it does, would I be happy that I spent some of those moments in my life on that? The answer is usually no. It's more often than not, it's no. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time and your energy and your thoughts. We're better than that. We're above it at this point. I hope that helps. I'll probably be back before Christmas, but who knows these days. Anyway, I hope you have a good holiday. If I don't see you, I might see you. But if I don't, have a good holiday. Check me out over at patreon.com/earlymorningbarking and that sort of thing. And follow me on socials. There are links everywhere. You're clever people. You can figure it out. Hit like on the video. That's another thing. You take care. I'll see you later. Bye.